Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into a career path that you might not know even exists.
Okay.
We're going to talk about beer sommeliers,
Right.
and we've got some really cool information from RoleCatcher to help us with this.
Okay.
They got this awesome platform for job seekers, and their career guide on beer sommeliers is seriously insightful.
Nice.
It's got all the intel. Plus, we're going to be tapping into their interview prep tools a little bit later.
Looking forward to that.
Have you ever thought about a career where you get paid to talk about hops and barley and stuff?
I mean, it sounds amazing, right? Like that's the dream,
Yeah.
right? The world of beer is so complex now
Yeah,
that you need people who can guide you through it.
for sure, for sure.
I'd want someone to tell me what I'm tasting and what I should be looking for and stuff.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? RoleCatcher defines a beer sommelier as a beer expert.
Yeah.
Someone with a deep understanding of everything from beer styles and brewing techniques to even food pairings.
It's a lot more than just drinking beer.
It's a lot. But here's the thing that I was not expecting. They also need to know about glassware and draft systems.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting, though, because I guess that stuff does impact the flavor, right? Like,
Yeah.
a good sommelier knows that it's not just about the beer itself. It's the whole experience.
Oh,
The glass, the pour, all of it makes a difference.
exactly. I know I like a good IPA,
Right.
but a beer sommelier could tell you why a specific IPA would taste better in a certain glass.
Mhm.
Or how the draft system at a brewery is impacting the flavor.
Interesting.
Next level beer appreciation.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
It's not just restaurants either.
Yeah.
No, you can work in brewery shops. You can even be like a consultant and write about beer
Oh, wow.
or lead tastings.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot more diverse than people think.
So I'm really curious about the perks of this job.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want a job that involves beer?
Right. Sign me up.
What did RoleCatcher say about the good parts of this career path?
Well, one of the biggest things is that it's in high demand.
Okay.
The craft beer scene is blowing up right now, so they need people who actually know about this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just a hobby anymore. It can be like a real career. With good earning potential, they said there's a lot of creative opportunities, continuous learning, and you get to network within the industry.
So you're not just having a pint after work.
No, it's serious business.
There's some serious pros to this job.
There are.
But like any job, I'm sure there's downsides too.
Yeah. RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat it.
Okay.
They said the hours can be long and kind of unpredictable.
Right.
It's a lot of being on your feet.
Oh, yeah.
There's the potential for alcohol abuse if you're not careful.
That's true.
And depending on where you live, there might not be a ton of opportunity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's really about finding that balance, between what you're passionate about and what the job actually entails.
That's a good point. You have to be realistic about it. So let's say someone is really passionate about beer and they want to do this for a living. What are the skills and knowledge they actually need to be successful? It's got to be more than just knowing you, like a nice cold one after work, right?
Yeah.
What did RoleCatcher say about all that?
Oh, yeah, you're telling me it's way more in-depth.
Wow.
Knowing your beer styles, that's important.
Right.
Knowing about brewing processes, that's huge too.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that.
Okay.
You need to know food pairings, obviously.
Right.
But the history of beer, too.
Oh, wow.
The different cultural traditions around it.
Interesting.
Even the science behind, how we perceive flavors and stuff.
It really is like any other kind of expertise then.
Totally.
Where you have to learn and constantly be refining what you know.
Yeah. And especially with craft beer, it's always changing.
Oh, for sure.
New trends, new techniques all the time.
Wow.
You got to be a lifelong learner.
So how do you even keep up with all that? Are there resources for that?
RoleCatcher actually has some really good skill guides that go into all of that.
Okay, cool.
Pretty practical advice in there.
So it's one thing to have the book smarts, I guess, but they really emphasize real-world experience too, right?
Definitely.
What do they say?
Oh, go to beer tastings.
Okay.
Go to festivals, visit breweries, join beer appreciation clubs.
Okay.
Just really immerse yourself.
Right. Get in there.
Yeah.
It's one thing to read about different brewing processes.
Right.
It's another to actually talk to the brewers, see the equipment,
Yeah. 100%.
taste the subtle differences.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, so you've got the passion, you're learning as you go. You're getting hands-on experience.
Yeah.
How do you actually make a career out of this?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
How do you go from just someone who loves beer to an actual certified beer sommelier.
Yeah.
They said there's kind of two main paths you can take.
Okay.
One is the more traditional route, like taking specialized courses, getting a certification.
Makes sense.
But a lot of people also kind of work their way up
Allegedly.
through breweries or restaurants or, businesses that are really beer-centric.
So it's about getting your foot in the door somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's actually where RoleCatcher's platform can be super helpful.
Oh, how so?
Well, you can actually find those jobs on there.
Okay.
You can tailor your CV to highlight your beer knowledge. And they even have tools to help you practice for interviews.
Oh, that's huge.
Because interviews can be nerve-wracking.
Even when you know your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
And especially when you're passionate about something, it can be even harder.
Yeah, for sure.
But RoleCatcher even uses AI for this.
Really?
Yeah, like you upload your stuff and it gives you feedback and stuff.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
So it's like having a leg up in a way.
Exactly. It's all about having every advantage you can get.
Especially in a competitive field.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, let's say someone isn't quite ready to go all in on a beer career.
Okay.
Can you still benefit from knowing this stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The skills you learn along the way, they can really apply to a lot of things.
Like what?
Customer service communication, sensory evaluation, all that stuff is valuable no matter what.
Right. Those are good skills to have.
And knowing about the food and beverage industry in general is never a bad thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Trends and stuff like that.
So even if you don't become a certified beer sommelier,
Yeah.
you've still gained something from at least looking into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher actually recognizes that they have a whole section called Adjacent Career Guides.
What's that?
So they highlight careers that use similar skill sets.
Oh, that's interesting. So like what kind of adjacent careers are we talking about? What are some examples?
Some of them make sense, right? Like you could work in hospitality,
Yeah.
maybe even be a chef or something.
Yeah, right.
But then they get into some really interesting ones,
Okay, like what?
like industrial cook or food regulatory advisor. They even had leaf sorter in there.
Wait, leaf sorter? I don't get that one.
Think about it. They're all about sensory evaluation. You got to have a good palate, be able to taste those subtle variations, whether it's beer or apparently leaves.
I never would have thought of that. That's crazy.
Right. It's about those unexpected connections.
Yeah.
It's like this whole deep dive. It's not just about being a beer sommelier.
Right.
It's about how certain skills can apply to things you would never expect.
Exactly.
You think you know what a skill is for, and then bam!
Totally.
Turns out it's useful in a totally different field.
So someone listening might realize that maybe they don't want to work with spreadsheets.
Right.
Maybe they should be like sniffing beers instead.
Oh, that's a career change I could get behind.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot about beer sommeliers today,
We really did.
but they do the good, the bad, the skills you need.
And don't forget RoleCatcher.
Oh, yeah. They can really help you out if this is something you're interested in.
For sure, check them out.
But I think the most important thing we talked about today is to follow your curiosity.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't end up actually becoming a beer sommelier,
Yeah.
just learning about this stuff can be so valuable.
100%.
You might discover a whole passion you never even knew you had.
Exactly.
So if you're ready to learn more, maybe try some new beers.
Well, not.
Definitely check out RoleCatcher.
They've got a ton of cool stuff on there.
They do, and they make it so easy to explore different careers.
It's true.
You never know what you might find.
That's what we always say.
It's amazing how technology can connect us with these passions and open doors to new opportunities.
It really is.
So think about it. What hidden talents or interests do you have that might lead to an amazing career?
Yeah.
It might be time for your own deep dive.
I love that.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.